Hi, hello there. My name is Vigueras Gonzalez. I come from Escuela Superior de Tepeji de Río, which is part of this amazing university, Universidad Autónoma del Estado de Hidalgo. The topic to be discussed today is fun facts about TOEFL. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, first of all, let's talk about or let's mention some general information about this certification. The first thing that we have to know about this test is that, as I previously mentioned, it's a certification that helps you to prove your English level. This TOEFL ITP test, let's get started with the general information about the TOEFL ITP test. The thing that we have to know is that this is a certification exam, which will help you to prove your English level. Here, we have the TOEFL ITP, because as you may know, there are so many different versions for this TOEFL certification, but in this case, we're going to talk about very specifically about the ITP version. This test is based on 100% academic content. That means that this exam doesn't give more chances to any other career than others. So here, we have all the same options to be evaluated under the same conditions. So this test is based on some things that a non-native speaker has to some specific skills or the level of English that you have to prove to demonstrate that you have a very specific English level. It can be from, I don't know, like A1 to C1 maybe. So here it's quite important to know that all of these questions, the question that you're going to find, this certification is based on multiple choice question. That means that you will have one question and 4 different answers. All the test is based on this format. That means that you won't find any other item here. So the test evaluates skills in 3 different areas: listening comprehension, structure and written expression, and reading comprehension. So the listening comprehension measures your ability to understand spoken English as it's used in college and universities. Because as we previously said, this exam evaluates academic contents. Now, let's move on to structure and written expression, which measures recognition of selected structural and grammatical points in standard written English. Finally, we have reading comprehension, which measures the ability to read and understand academic reading material, of course, written in English. It's vitally important to know that the TOEFL ITP test has 2 versions. The first one is level 1, which is from levels to intermediate to advanced, which lasts approximately 2 hours. And then we have level 2, high beginning to intermediate, which lasts approximately 1 hour and 10 minutes. As you can see, the sections are the same. However, the difference or the main thing here is the number of questions to be answered. And of course, the amount of time we have to answer all of them. Needless to say, the score scale will vary a little bit from one version to the other. However, both versions are vitally important, are equal, and the thing to be considered here is your own purposes. Okay, so whether you want to take the 1 or 2, it's totally fine. So the TOEFL ITP test can be taken in a computer-based format and on paper-based. So that means that you have 2 different options to set your test. And it's super important to say that this university offers you both formats, both versions, which is amazing. So if you decide to go to the TOEFL ITP based paper-based, you will find some answer sheets like this, in which you will be asked to complete it with your personal information, such as your name, your date of birth, your gender, etc. Of course, there are some other things, as we can see here, that you will be given by the instructor during your application day or the application session. So there you will have to include your student number, the native country code and the native language code, which, as I previously said, you will be given this information, so don't worry about it. So there we have, you will have to write where are you taking the test, which is the level that you are applying for, level 1 or level 2, and you will be asked, or you will be asked to answer some questions like background, like a background questionnaire, which is, just for the statistic. This part doesn't affect any answer or, like in any way your performance. So you can be quite sure, just relax, answer the question based on your personal information, and that's it. Finally, you will be asked to write this phrase here just to prove that you are the one who are taking the test. Okay. Then, as you can see, you will find the three different sections to be answered or to be written here. To fill up your answers. It's quite important to remember that you will have a booklet and you will have an answer sheet. In the booklet, you will be allowed to read, to analyze the question. However, all the questions, all the answers for all of them must be filled up here, according to the section and according to the number of questions. This is the only thing that is going to be considered to give you your grade. So be careful with the order in which you are going to fill them up, and be careful to fill up all of the questions, okay? Once you have done the exam and you receive your results, you will find something like this. Your document, your certification is going to be something like this. It's like very similar, in which you're going to have the name of the institution, your name, your date of birth, your sex, how many times you have taken the TOEFL, and your student number, plus your native country, the native language code too, and any other parts. As you can see, all of this information that is going to be presented here in this document is based on the information that you have previously delivered in your background questionnaire and on your answer sheet. Now, what are some things that we have to consider when preparing to the test? So the first one is that TOEFL ITP tests are not based on the content of any particular English course or any particular subject, rather on your English language proficiency. Your overall ability to use English improvement in proficiency may take some time and is generally achieved through a combination of practice and study. So it's, I want to draw the attention to this because, as we previously mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, you don't have to study any particular degree or course to take this exam and to have a good score. Okay? Remember, everything is about practice and study. As we said, in general, practice makes perfect. Now, during the test, it's meaningful, that you work quickly and carefully. Do not spend too much time on any one question. The certification is assigned, give you the question, and give you very, very few seconds to answer. If there is a question that you don't understand particularly, don't worry. You can continue working on the rest of them, and then if you have time, go back to the question later, so you can be sure to answer all of the questions within the time limit. Now, mark your answers on your answer sheets and not in the test book. As we said, you will have a booklet, which is like the book in which you're gonna find all of the questions, okay? All the readings, all the questions, all the possible answers. Don't write or don't leave your answers there. You have to translate them into the answer sheet because that is the thing that is going to be evaluated. Now, mark only one answer for each question. If you mark more than one answer, that question will be counted as wrong. So be careful, just mark one. The correct one, preferably. So you will receive credit only for the answers marked in the circles on the answer sheet. That is the reason why I'm making a lot of emphasis in filling up the circle. you know, just for the answer that you have chosen, just one per question. Your score will be based on the number of questions you answer correctly. Try to answer every question to the best of your ability, okay? Pay close attention to the time during the reading section of the test. In the reading section, you have to pace yourself, so work quickly, and if you don't know the answer to a question, come back to it later. This is like a golden rule to be followed through the whole test, except for the listening. Okay, so you cannot bring scratch paper into the test room or make notes on any other part of the answer sheet, on any other piece of paper. All what you need is going to be given in the application, you know, in the application session, just your booklet and your answer sheet. And remember that you have to bring certain materials, you know, as pencil, eraser, and sharpener, which is going to be discussed later, but this is the only thing that you need. Okay, and especially for the reading part, please don't spend a lot of time reading. Probably you will find a topic that is particularly interesting to you, but please don't spend too much time there. Otherwise, you won't be able to answer the rest of the questions and you will lose marks. You can take notes in the blank areas of the test book during the listening part of the test, but no in any other place, okay? Just keep that in mind. So, what to bring to the test center? When you are already, when you're ready, you know, to set your exam, you have to arrive there, to arrive to the institution, if it's paper-based, or have it with you if you decide to go for the computer-based format. You will have to have with you some things, okay, to demonstrate that you are the person who is going to apply for the exam, who is going to answer. Now, there are some things that you have to answer. Please don't forget them and have everything ready one day before the exam. So you will have to bring your admission form. You must bring your completed admission form. If it is not completed, it may cause you considerable delay. Please arrive with everything ready, okay? Everything filled up. Now, you will have to bring an identification document. You may be required to provide an identification with photograph, you know, maybe like your ID or, you know, any other document with an official document with your photograph on it, as we can see here in the slide. Then, of course, you will have to arrive there with your pencils and erasers. You must bring several sharpened, medium soft, number 2 or HB, black lead pencils. You may not use a pen, a pencil with color lead, or a liquid lead pencil to mark your answer sheet. Okay, just be sure to bring a pen. Okay, and you will also need a good quality eraser that will completely erase any unintended marks you make on your answer sheet. Pencil and erasers will not be supplied by the test supervisor. Okay, despite the fact that to answer the test, you will be require only your pencil and your eraser, it's very important to bring a pen. Okay, probably because you will have to fill up a format, or maybe you can write some information at the end of the test. I don't know. So please bring these things: sharpener, pencil, and pen, just in case. And of course, your ID card. Now, as we were talking about the ID document requirements, this ID or this identification is going to be needed for all of the section of your exam, for the whole application form. So you will have to have this document with you all the time. Okay, so there are this document has to follow or has to fulfill certain characteristics. So ID document requirements, acceptable ID documents vary according to the location of the test administration. However, there are some general guidelines. Each document must meet all of the following requirements. So it has to be original, of course. No photocopies, no scanned documents, okay? It has to be valid, you know, expired documents or varying expiration dates that have passed are not accepted. So please be sure and decide which document you want to carry with you the day of the exam, because it has to follow this. So show the test taker your full name, matching exactly the name that appears on your admission. Remember that you will have to have, like a lot of different things, a lot of documents with your personal information. So the ID card, the answer sheet, the registration form has to have the same personal general information. So if it is the case that the document doesn't meet this part, it won't be accepted. So show a recent photograph that clearly matches the test taker. Okay, for example, if I'm going to test I'm going to take the test right now, and if I want to give, or if I want to deliver an identification with a baby photograph, that won't be accepted. It has to be very recent. And last but not least, include the test taker's signature. You will sign your answer sheet, and of course, they have to match. That is the same signature. Those are some things to be considered, okay? And finally, we have prepared some links here to you so you can practice the test. Okay, there we have the TOEFL ITP assessment series, expanding possibilities through English. There we have the link in which you can find some questions very similar to the real ones, and it can help you to measure your time, to reinforce what you know, and of course, to identify what can be your own strategies to be followed during this application. Okay, so another thing to be remembered and to be brought is that you have to arrive on time with all the necessary materials. So probably we can come up with a solution for all the things that are that we're going to face there, but remember that all of them are going to cause you delay. And if the delay is considerable, you cannot go into the room and have your test. So remember that it's always vital to be on time. Okay, so in general, we can say that the TOEFL ITP certification help us to prove our English knowledge. As non-native speaker, we have two different versions, level 1 and level 2, which of course depends directly on the level that you want to demonstrate. We have the options, to take the computer-based form or the paper-based form, as you prefer, and all of them contain 3 points: listening, structured and written expression, and reading. Okay, remember that you have to have with you all the time an ID document, like an ID card with a photograph very recent of yourself, and with your correct personal information. You have to bring some pencils, eraser, sharpeners, and a pen, just in case. So we hope that you find fun while studying and preparing for this exam, and of course, do the best you can during your real application session. Here on this slide, we have another sample test that can help you to reinforce what you know, to practice, and to do your best. So I'm so very happy that you have watched this video, and we really hope that this information will be of great help to you and you find it useful. So thank you very much. My name was Alan Vigueras Gonzalez from Escuela Superior de Tepeji de Río. Have an amazing day. Good luck and go for it. Thank you. Bye.
Este video es presentado por el Sistema Ciencia Garza Educativa de la Universidad Autónoma del Estado de Hidalgo.